wake up, wake up, wake up. Ow. Nobody laughs at that anymore. I'm over here slapping myself and saying ow, and nobody laughs anymore.
Oh, sorry. Haha. Enjoy your
Ha! You're funny. No, normally I'll do like right before I start into the intro, I'll go, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Ah.
But lately I've been adding, wake up, wake up, wake up. Ow. Nobody laughs at that anymore. It's like, I don't know.
Well, we're all become cynical, really, haven't we?
That's become. I've been cynical since 1998, maybe? I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, everybody, it is Carter Mann, and holy shit, you have just fallen into the pull bag. Hope there's nothing sharp in there.
You've just jumped inside the pull bag. Join TFG1Mike and the rest of the comic crew here at the GCRN as they make their great escape into comics. From DC, Marvel, and Image to IDW, Boom Studios, and Zenescope, we have everything right here. We cover things like Transformers, He-Man, superheroes, TMNT, and Radiant Black. Yeah, we have all that and so much more. It's all inside the pull bag here on the Geekcast Radio Network. So, without further ado, it's time to talk about the comics we're reading right now, here inside the pull bag.
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. This is episode 502. That's right, folks, 502. You dial 502-585-1234 for the Tark line. You can dial 502-585-5961 for the time and weather line in Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, 502 is the main area code for Louisville. I am, of course, TFG1Mike. Joining me is someone not from America, is over there in the Irish Isles. He actually just moved across his country. It is Mikey from Moonbase, too. Hello, sir.
Hello, I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm just like going,
it's okay. That's what, you know, that's
Louisville.
Yes. So it's been a while since we've done an Immortal Orphans issue from Carter Mann. And we've had this for a while now.
I just realized his name is Carter Mann, which feels like it should be a character in this.
You know,
Behold, Carter Mann.
He kind of is a character in this. I mean, between Gannion and Quinn, it's like I hear, because Carter was on. For those that don't know, for those that haven't listened to our other Immortal Orphans episodes, first of all, go listen to those so you can catch up on that. Second of all, he was on the radio for a number of years, so he was a morning radio personality and all that. I think he had I'm sorry, Carter, don't yell at me. I believe he had a 30-year career in radio or something like that. And I had first found him in 2016 when he was on a station in Louisville, 107.7 The Eagle. It was, classic rock kind of stuff. It was, 70s, 80s, 90s rock, whatever. And I loved his style and loved the way he sounded, and I've got all kinds of other clips of him that I've recorded off the radio and everything else, and yeah, no, he's the character we know and love, and yeah, when I'm reading this, I'm like, yep, I can hear his voice in my head, just like we can all hear the late, great other person in our head whenever we watch Batman or read Batman, because, yeah, that happened, but yes, it has been, it's been over a year since we recorded issues 3 and 4, October of last year. We recorded issues 3 and 4. It's been a while, folks. A lot has happened.
We are prompt and timely.
Yes, no, not really. Not at all. Are you kidding? Forget about that. I can't keep up with... Nope. You'll get it when you get it. You'll get it when I'm good and ready to give it to you. That's pretty much what it is, right? Oh, God. But yes, Carter Mann's Immortal Orphans, issue 5. I got to the end of this, and I'm like, you bastard. We'll talk about that. But I was like, yeah, you bastard. You don't do that. But he did what he did. Art style is what he's used his whole time. I still love his art style. It's very unique, very interesting. We start where I guess I should have read the end of issue 4 before I started into this, because it's been a year and I don't remember. But we start with Science Boy.
Science?
And good.
No, I just want to say science.
Science boy and his magical bag of science. See what I did there? And we basically get a sort of history of who Julian Durand is, and we get Cyclops at the door. Oh boy. Zombie cops. What, where? Oh, man. And as this issue progresses, they have a fight with the zombie cops. So it's Quinn the Lucky, Science Boy, Ganian, Liberty, Hernia Man, and Artie. I think Artie is still my favorite out of them all. The robot. I don't know. Maybe it's the Transformers fan in me. I don't know. And yeah, we have the fight, and Ganian does all kinds of stuff, and Quinn the Lucky basically is just like, stay behind me, it'll be fine. You really don't want to get too close to me. And I love the way that Carter created Quinn the Lucky, because he doesn't have to do anything. He has this mysticism about, like, he doesn't have to throw a punch. That's what Ganian's for. Like, throw Ganian in there to do whatever. Like the panel before where Ganian's ripping the wires out of the zombie cop. Like, he's just like, yoink. But Quinn, he doesn't have to do anything. You just stand next to him if you're a bad guy or if you're whatever, and then just bad stuff happens to you. I don't feel sorry for the zombie cop because he's a zombie, and I need to preface this before somebody hears that and says, it's a zombie cop. It's not a real cop. This is fiction. This is not, I'm not Ice-T. or Ice Cube or whatever ice you want to talk about that always, used to say what they used to say.
I'm not whatever ice you're talking about.
Exactly. This is not the ice you are looking for. But, I love how Carter describes the images we're seeing, As it takes a step towards Quinn, its leg just turns to dust as the other arm falls to the floor. And we're seeing this, and I'm not really good with blood, guts, and gore, but the way his art style is, I don't have a problem with, it doesn't, because I know Carter is going for, yes, this is a serious thing, yes, there are serious issues in this comic book series, but in this issue, in this scene, it's played more for the funny. I mean, I'm sure he could have drawn it way more grotesque than what it is, but because he didn't, I'm perfectly fine with it. What are you thinking up to the point of this them versus the zombie cops?
It's an interesting one. I like the designs of the cops themselves. They're mostly the same, but there's quite a lot of uniqueness in the head. And I think it's kind of interesting to start with a brief overview of Durand and then go straight into this kind of action scene. I think it does a good job showing off the powers, and I think the luck one, the way the luck power worked, I thought that was well handled. Just everything's just falling off because luck or telekinesis style or whatever you want to call it. It's got something he does well. I would never say he does what's the word I'm looking for? Tactile violence. I never feel the action scenes, would be how I'd say it. The action scenes are very much present, but I don't feel them in the moment. But that works because it means the arm falling off. It's not supposed to be gross. You're not supposed to be grossed out by it or anything like that. It's set up to it's just there to be a demonstration of picking a fight with this guy is just never a good idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like he says, you don't want to point that gun at me because it's not going to go well for you. And it's in a way where, and I think this is crazy, but the zombie cops, the way they're designed, you have I'm sorry, Carter, but these are just my own personal descriptors of these things. On the left, in the reveal, you have basically what is the fat oaf security guard looking cop, which is the one that gets his arm and leg and whatever later. Mm-hmm. You've got the one that kind of looks like a Terminator. You get the skull and crossbones one, and then you get a recruit on the far right. And I'm like, that's a look that Carter probably the hair and the little. That's not a goatee, but the little peach fuzz on his chin, like that's probably a look Carter rocked at some point. Because I look at that recruit and I'm like, holy shit, Carter painted his face green. So when we get to, yeah, you're right. It's not. It's more cartoon violence. It's more like, I think the darkest thing I ever saw in Looney Tunes was in Easter Yeggs.
Easter Yeggs.
Easter Yeggs. This is the Bugs Bunny one. This is the Easter one where the Easter Bunny, like, every year I get some dumb bunny to do my work. And, Bugs has to go around, Easter eggs, Easter eggs. Well, he gets to this house where all these criminals are, and this little kid is like, give me an Easter egg, give me an Easter egg, give me an... And I'm doing a really bad impression of Mel and whatever else. But it's this little kid, this little annoying kid, and the kid comes up and bats it. Oh, you broke my little arm. But when we first see this kid, when Bugs is first introduced, the kid is laying in a crib that is made out of probably a cigarette. I forget. I've got the image on Facebook somewhere, but the kid is laying in a crib that's made out of a cigarette or cigar box or whatever. And he's actually using a pistol as a pacifier. Like, he's sucking on the end of the gun, but he's holding this isn't like that. This is cartoon violence where it's like, oh, that poor idiot zombie cop. He just, and yeah. And the sad thing is, I called him a security guard oaf, and I'm looking at his design as his arm falls off again. And I don't want to focus on this, but I can't help now that I'm looking at it. I'm like, holy crap, that was Sparkplug Witwicky.
Oh my god!
Look at the panel.
Sparkplug.
Yep, look at the panel where his left arm falls off. He's got the blue jeans and the yellow boots. How can you not think that that's Sparkplug from Transformers? Because it couldn't be Spike. He's too fat to be Spike. And he's too old. But yeah, no. I love Carter's style. I think I think the two most violent scenes in this issue are when right at the end of this panel where Quinn basically slices his head off. Kind of felt that a little bit. But like, ooh, yikes. All right. And that's the one where Science Boy's like, you're going to have to explain this luck thing or whatever at some point. And then right after that, you see Artie with the skull and crossbones, basically just pushing his or her, because I don't remember. I think they call Artie him, but I could be wrong. And Carter, I'm sorry.
They do generally refer to Artie with male pronouns and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to offend the robot. I don't want the robot to put its tentacles in me. But basically, Artie is...
You're one of the few who says that these days. Most are pretty open to it, yeah.
No.
Dear sir, I appreciate the offer. It is not in my realm of interest. Thank you for thank you for applying for the role. Please call again.
No. just no. But my point is I think that they're not alive, more machine than corpse. But I think that's a good, I love when comic creators do that, or when creators in general will do that. They will say and then we'll have stories otherwise, elsewhere, robots can kind of be alive, sort of. There are sentient beings in the world. We just have to, wait for them. That's a bad Optimus Prime joke, everybody. And, but it's I love that distinction of these guys aren't human anymore. You're technically killing them, but they're not really alive already, so technically, I don't know what that would You're the science guy. What kind of science is that, Mikey?
Necromancy?
Probably, yeah. I thought that was more bodily fluid related, but anyway.
Well, it's basically like the dead alive.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
I would say, like, once you're into something like this, science kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, what's the science behind these zombies? Please explain. I mean, there are technically zombies in the real world, but it's more insects than people. So far.
Yeah. I mean, technically people do dress up as zombies, for cosplay and things like that, but that's only because they've seen it in the movies and stuff.
Yep, but the Last of Us came from somewhere. So.
Yep. I know the recruit is a zombie, and and I get it. He works for Julian, but I kind of feel, and it's only because, I feel sorry for him because it's only because he kind of looks like Carter, and it's like, holy crap, that's an evil version of Carter. But he's only a recruit. He's trying to learn it's like Colin Farrell in the movie The Recruit, whatever. I don't know. It's just weird. So as we move along here, Quinn wants a high five for the tic tac, all that. And she's like, I'm not high fiving you for that. And, we better move because Julian will send more people. And we have Secret Passage. And then we get to the 70s, folks.
Dark times.
Carter. Yeah, well, no. Well, yeah, it was, but like Carter and this Porta Loomis, the inside the Porta Loomis stuff, and what he says here in the thing, with your eyes rested from our last visit, we can now take another peek at the curious dimension on the other side of the Porta Loomis portal. As your eyes begin to focus, you can make out 3 familiar forms. Your human eyes translate what they can, but no two humans will see things alike. So we get to the Porta Loomis portal, and we get these 3, what did I call them last time? Blobs or globs or energy beings or whatever they are. But like, as he's saying about my eyes, like this whole scene, we get to and I'm only skipping to the end just for this part, and we can talk about this scene in a second, but at the end of it, before it goes back to the normal part of the story, the images begin to fade as your eyes tire from overstimulation. When I read this last night, I literally started yawning at the end of this panel. Like, I couldn't keep... He played an eye trick on me, you bastard, Carter Mann. But no, so we get to the Porta Loomis, the other side of the Porta Loomis, and Eudaimonia?
Yeah, don't ask me to pronounce that one.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that either, so I'm sure Carter will write an email or do a message or whatever and tell me what it is, but... So yeah, we get, Hadeon and their parents, and, we've made a decision regarding the upcoming Porta Loomis event. You're not going to be attending. You're grounded. I earned my spot on the team. We know you did. This isn't about your qualifications. We just thought it best to give you some distance from the event. Oh boy. Thoughts?
This one is an interesting scene, in part because it feels weirdly Marvel. Especially like the next time we visit these, it's definitely got that like someone being manipulated by Loki vibe. It's the beings that exist outside what we consider normal, but have clearly been there before and are clearly they're the Greek gods. And it's like, what's going to happen? Like, I'm currently thinking that when they come through, Haydn's going to be like given a human form or something like that.
Right.
But I am very curious to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see. It's again like there's a lot of emphasis on parental stuff in these books. And I think that definitely comes across. But you go from this scene with the parents who are like chastising their child to the next scene, which is the parents who abused their children.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one how it's playing it. I'm curious. I'm very curious to see where these go on. And I do like that there's quite a lot of emotion being conveyed in a scene of three balls.
Yeah. It's really awesome, and it's really fun, and it's really a point of, oh my God, these used to, like you said, I believe he even said, folks, it's been a year since we covered this series initially, so I believe, yes, you are right in saying that these used to be the gods, and they even say that in here as well. So these used to be sort of quote-unquote people, but now they're just these, energy spheres or whatever. And the sad thing is, as I'm just looking through this section of issue 5 here, like the Reality Stone, the Soul Stone, literally I'm getting Infinity Stone vibes off the designs of the balls now at this point.
Your balls are the Infinity Stones. No one's surprised.
Oh, man. So we get back to the Duran Center, and yeah, you're right. Like, this guy, man, he just does not. He cares, but he cares in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, he's what we call like the person who the classic example of the parent who assumes that their children are an extension of themselves.
Yep.
And so acts like it, like, I don't have to be kind to my children, I don't have to be kind to my wife, because they're basically all just me, but not quite as cool. And, obviously, it's a wee bit more complicated than that in real life.
Yeah. But even though, even though it's a little bit more complicated like that in real life, still, this plays very well. Like, he does, what he's trying to do with his kids, it's like, oh my God, you're turning them into weapons? I don't know. And I keep forgetting that this is the very, very far-flung future. But the whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, okay, there's the father, there's the son and two daughters. I'm like, wait, Julian Duran Jr.? Ivanka? Is that you? Like, seriously. Like, and he has said so himself, like, Julian is supposed to be orange-like, I'll say.
Yeah.
Because, but, and I love how the oldest daughter is like, please, just kill me. Just put me out of my misery. Like, it's just crazy what he is, they basically tell him, you're insane.
Oh, completely dehumanize everyone around him.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not good.
No, it's not something I recommend.
No. Well, Julian is not exactly a good guy. He is the villain of the story, but it's like, oh my God, you monster. You're, like they say, you're insane. You're this, you're that. And it's like, wow. I do like, though, how I see, because I'll have to, I think I sent you some of the Carter clips I have so you can hear how he actually, but if I haven't, I'll do so after.
Yeah, I know you did. It was a good long while back, but yeah.
Yeah, but like when I see him write stuff like, oh yeah, I'm going to call you guys together three-way. I swear, I don't plan any of these names. Like, he has said things like that before. So, it's like, again, in almost every character, like between Julian, Quinn, and Gannion, I'm like, okay, those are all like Carter. Those are all like kind of his personality between those three. And I don't say that his personality is an evil dictator. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the way that they talk. Hey now. Oh boy!
I'm not saying he's an evil dictator who's planning turning against us, but I'm also not saying that. I'm just asking questions. Is he about to pull a gun and do us all? I'm not saying he is going to do it, but I am wondering if he will.
There you go. So we get back to Quinn the Lucky and Ganian and Liberty, and they all have a suit-up scene because we need everyone that needs one grab a wingsuit. Oh boy, the wingsuits. Nice designs, though.
They're what we call form-fitting.
Yes, very much so. But at least they work. And hey, look, there's the cat.
I did laugh at that. I was just like, oh my god.
I thought that was so cool.
Eat the kitty.
Yep. At least it's on the front, not on his back. So, I mean, because, if you put the cat on your back, then, you're going to get scratched or something's going to happen or whatever because you can't see what it's doing. But, obviously baby carrier, et cetera, et cetera. But I thought that was great. I thought that was really cool.
No, it was a good laugh. And I love the fact it's a purple cat. I don't know why I like that so much, but I do like it.
Yeah. Purple cats rule. Yep. So they're going into battle, and they are going to go into, find Julian and destroy the police and all that. And I just, once again, we could turn this into the cat podcast, the Purple Cat podcast, because when we first see the cat on Quinn's chest, she's kind of like she's confused. And then the next time we see her is when he's, jumping away from the explosion and the cat's just like, uh-oh. So I love that. And I love how the zombie cops are skydiving as well. The scene, like, approaching suspect, and he's coming after Science Boy, and it's hilarious. I've always wanted to skydive. I never have. I actually had a chance to do it in high school, but I just couldn't afford it at the time. Yeah, I've always wanted to do it, and I blame. And I already mentioned one voice with Batman and the loss of Kevin Conroy, but I'll mention another one. I blame Jason David Frank. May the man rest in peace. But Tommy Oliver, oh yeah, 1995, like that sky surfing scene, that skydiving. Like I've always, and I was in middle school, close to high school at that point in time. So somewhere between 95 and 99, I was like, yeah, I want to do this one of these days, and I never have. But I always love skydiving scenes. I think they're so cool. I love the movie. Say what you will about it, but I love the movie Drop Zone with Wesley Snipes. Oh man, it was so cool. And I love how Carter just puts them in shadow and gets you see the characters, but the focus is supposed to be on what they're saying. So Artie says, teleporting while in a near free fall, pretty reckless move this early in your training. Well done. Oh, thanks, Gearbox. Have I got any nano powers that can get me out of this situation? I just love that again, you're focusing on where they are and what they're doing and what they're saying more so than the character designs, because we've seen those already. Yeah.
It's very much tying it. It's an interesting approach to visual storytelling because it's actually not necessarily about the visuals. It's about drawing your eyes away from what's happening in a way. It's like, okay, what are they saying rather than what are they doing? That matters more in this.
Yeah. And Artie accesses Ganian's quantum system, and the zombie explodes. And I love the effect. I love the way this panel is drawn. Like the bzzz, pop, like that. The panel, like as he's quote unquote standing there, and you see the green skeleton of the zombie, and I'm like, Blight? Is Batman going to show up? Because Blight kind of was a green, Terry McGinnis going to be around here somewhere. But
I mean, I wouldn't mind.
Obviously. Yeah, true, but still, that would be a copyright thing and all that and whatever else. But yeah, I love the way that Carter drew this. I love the way that he colored it. I think it is such a nice effect of basically blowing up a skeleton.
Mm.
And I didn't know that nanotech could potentially cure zombieism.
In nanotech, the thing in sci-fi is basically, do you need something to be done? Yes, nano machines, son.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you need it done, tiny robots will do it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if it's logical that the robots can do it, but the robots will do it.
Yes. We only have to wonder, folks. Will it be the robots or the zombies? Let's hope it's humanity, actually. But
zombie robots.
No. And Liberty's like, rude. These were, citizens of Shangri-La. Have some respect. And he's like, oh, my apologies. I'll try to remember that while I'm picking the chunks of his dead face out of my teeth.
No, it's like it's such a tongue-in-cheek writing sometimes in this book. Just like it's absolutely wearing it on its sleeve.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and we've talked about that in the other podcast. Where basically, I mean, yes, this has serious issues. Yes, he is trying to not necessarily send us a message, but he is telling a story with a deeper message. But when we get to these comedy bits, it's like, oh wow, you put that in a comic book. That's amazing. Like, and this skydiving, this fight scene does not feel like it. Like some fight scenes in comics feel like they take forever. And I think that's because some of them aren't as comedic as they maybe could be. And I get it. Battle scenes are not supposed to be comedic, but the way that Carter writes and draws and whatever else, and the characters that are in this, it's like, you gotta have, I mean, the man has kind of built his career on comedy. So we've got a zombie cop on the top of Liberty, and somebody get this piece of shit off of me. In comes Hernia Man.
The hero we didn't deserve.
Yep, it's the hero we needed. I love Gideon. Wow, Liberty, did you just call that revered officer of the peace a piece of shit? Poor guy was just trying to have a civic-minded afterlife.
No, like that's good writing. It's like I have a thing about like subverting expectations in writing is that it's frequently a lazy thing to do because it's like, what could I do that's not expected? And because like, does what you're doing that's not expected make sense? No, then you shouldn't do it. Hello, Game of Thrones. But like, this is like the clever thing, and just like, well, you set her up now that she's all about their humanity, and just like, wait, no, get it off me, get it off me, get it off me, get it off me, get it off me. Yeah. Just like, oh yeah, no, that's a good bit of subversion. Just like, hey, maybe she doesn't necessarily appreciate having a zombie on her back. Like, odd that.
I mean, and plus it's a zombie that's going to, be initiating termination order.
Yeah.
Like, it's a zombie who is dead who is going to kill Liberty. Like, don't give me Liberty. Don't give me death. Like, come on.
You gonna apologize for that one, or
no? Not at all. Not at all. So we go back to the other side of the Port of Loomis. You want to take this? Because this is a lot.
Yeah, this is, again, that Loki vibe. It's just like, it turns out that, Hermes said something they shouldn't. But it was all because they were trying to misdirect and be tricky. And it is like, I'm going to help you go to Earth, but you're going to regret it. But I'm still going to do it because I'm trying to stir the pot. Again, very much tied into the mythology of like Greek mythology, and like Hermes was Hermes, like a lot of gods in Greek mythology, we know them by one or two aspects of them. Like Hermes was the messenger of the gods, is the big one. But yeah, he was also like a god of thieves, like, you know, of spiriting things away. So it's nice to have this inclusion of that aspect of the character. And yeah, it's like, it is very Loki. It is very much like I feel like Hermes has an agenda. And Hermes is manipulating someone who can't stand up to him, or isn't smart enough, or isn't old enough. Or is just like the hyperactive teen who needs to prove to their parents that they're the top dog. When, you know, teenagers are never the top dog. Teenagers are idiots. We all were. That's just what it means to be young. So it's interesting from the point of view of the mythology, and also, like I said, like that. This feels like Carter is very much trying to emulate the Loki Thor stuff. Yeah,
and it's probably the only time I've actually cared about Loki kind of character. Like, seriously,
but he's so pretty. He's so pretty.
Yeah. A pretty face only gets you so far.
But his is a very pretty face, as everyone tells me.
Yes.
But I like him better in Kong, in Kong Skull Island myself, but...
I don't know. I'm not this has nothing to do with Carter's comic. This has more to do with, since you brought up the Marvel stuff. Like, unless Thor is with the Avengers, I just don't care. I don't care about his world. I don't dislike it. I guess I'm ambivalent to it. I don't know. I just don't.
He's very tied into his writers. He's one of those characters who is very much like, if he's not being written by the right person, you are wasting your time.
Yeah.
And it's just
Thor:
like,
The Dark World was a huge waste of time.
It weren't great. It weren't a great movie. Then again, like, Marvel's very much moving into what I'm calling its not great period, but...
Well, I think we're coming out of that.
Well, they said something like, after the current phase, they're canceling a lot of their existing projects just because of, like, relatively, it was the worst earning period they had.
Yeah.
No.
So back to Hermes and Hadion. I love the way that they're talking and the way that he draws. Like, so when this panel starts, you have Hermes and Hadion, and they're kind of just like floating there and whatever else. You get to the second part of the panel, and Hermes is like, they have they've connected somehow. You have this line of green/purple Constructicon energy between the two of them. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So who is... I assume... I'm trying to see from the drawing. I assume it is coming out of Hermes and going into Hadion.
Yeah.
I think that's... Yeah, because Hermes is trying to... I don't want to say infect him, but that's the only term I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly accurate.
I guess. And Hadion thanks him and says he's the best, and don't thank me yet. You still may come to regret your decision. And isn't that the truth?
True.
No, seriously. Like, and that's what I love about Carter and the way that he's done this series, the way that he's created this series. He is talking about real world issues, and he's basically masking it with comedy for the most part.
Very, very much.
But that's good, though. That's a good sign of the writing. That's a good sign of the story that he's creating. And he has these two very different... He has all these various characters between Julian and Quinn and Gannion and Hadion and her, like, between the Porta Loomis characters and the human characters. You know, you have all of these sides of a conversation that is being written by a guy who sees all the angles.
Yeah,
like he's coming at you at, like, with one person doing so many different points of view is amazing. It's really cool and it's fun.
It's he takes on a lot. Like, he very much seems to have taken the approach of, I can throw in as much as I want into this. And for the most part, he handles it really well. Like, it's not a hard book to follow. Like you said, with the time between, like, when we last read the issues and stuff like that, it is kind of like, okay, so where are we on our own timeline as much as anything else? Yeah. But the actual progression and everything else, like, flows very well. It's easy to see who's who. It's just one of those things where, like, you can clearly see it's a writer who's got an ability to follow these kind of jumping timelines and jumping positions and everything else. So he really deserves a lot of credit for that.
No, he does. I just wish somebody would pick up his series for him, like, and you know, whatever company it is, you know, I just wish they would. And yeah, so we get back to the other side, our side of the Port of Loomis, and we get Liberty and. Is it Liberty or is it no? It's the other one. It's Julian's kids. That's what it is. Yeah. So Julian is telling them about this Bertie. That's what it is. Or Bernie. Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is future TFG1 Mike on the editing side of episode 502 of the Pullbag. I need to correct myself. Bernie/Bernadette is not Julian's daughter. It's his wife who he's punishing because she cheated on him. So Bernie is the wife, Liberty is the daughter, and then he has another daughter in the tube like we've been talking about, or we will talk about here in a minute. So sorry, I screwed it up. Bernadette is the man's wife. Holy crap. Wow. Yikes. Now, back to your regularly scheduled Carter Mann program. Telling them about the mission, and she asks, you know, the monster, are you too scared to go on this mission? You can stay behind and play nursemaid to Julian. No, ma'am, I'm good. And yeah, and he talks about his other daughter, and what a design on this tube.
Very careful placement of the old bits and bobs. It's like, I want you naked, but I don't want to see it. Like, I don't want to see all the details every time I look. But then again, he can only really approach this tube in one direction then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God help him if he approaches from the side.
Yeah, that would jut out a little too much. C cup, D cup, I can't tell. Anyway, but my question about this is, like, okay, I know this is Julian, you know, and as for you, daughter, rest now, gather your strength, your birthday is almost here. My only question is, and I'm fine with the under boob and all that, and she's in this cylindrical tube and whatever else. Why is there I'm sorry, Carter, but it's the only thing I can think of in my head, but why is there a hockey puck in between her knees? Like, I understand why the one is on her crotch, but, like, why is there one by her? Like, these aren't, this isn't a button. This is inside the tube, but, like, what are you blocking out? Does she have some sort of, like, knee injury or kneecap injury that you don't want us to, like, what's the deal with the one that, like, I don't know. I mean, I love the way he did design this, though, because you have the full-on bar that covers her boobs, and then you have the two hockey pucks. And my thought is, oh God, what if he went the other way and he put two more hockey, like, oh boy. So I love the way it's designed, but I'm just like, why is there one by her knees? That's a little strange. That's a little weird, but okay, sure, fine. And we get back to Hernia Man and Liberty and Quinn and all of them. They're on their way to another property of Quinn's, but they have to go through this cave. And Liberty is talking about percentages and everything else, and Artie's like, that was is it Artie or Liberty? Who says about the percentages? No, yeah, it is Wait a minute. See, sometimes he puts the thing. Where the hell? I don't know, but Artie says that was an arbitrary percentage. And Liberty's like, those Psychops were from Julian's private security detail. All of you should expect yourselves wanted for crimes against Julian Durand. Great. Thought out for less than 24 hours and I'm already a fugitive. Still a step up from dead. Again, I see and hear Carter in those lines. So, you know, it is what it is. And I love how Quinn's like, yeah, and being a fugitive isn't that bad. And Artie's like, you would know. Or no, it's Ganny. No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not Quinn. It's Gannian because his hair is it's Gannian that's saying this, and then Artie says, you would know, because he turns to Artie and says, you know what? Maybe stick to your own conversation, junkyard. Oh, that's right. No one's talking to you. Pipe down until somebody needs a jar opened or something. Okay.
Gotta get get your robot. Yep. I always think like we'll invent like sentient robots, and that is how it's going to start. It's just kind of like, open this for me. You could do it yourself, yeah, but you could do it better. So,
yeah, but nobody has room for that Optimus Prime.
Give it time.
Yeah. We would all have to like live. No, nobody has room for that Optimus Prime. No, nobody does. And then Gannian's like, he's right though. I do know what that's like. Listen, Julian's clearly done some awful things in his life, but he's still a human being. He can be reasoned with, right? And then Science Boy and Liberty are like, ha 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 ha. They're just laughing. And my first thought was, thanks for the colors, Carter, because holy crap, it's like the Joker gave them laughing gas. Green background, purple, ha ha ha. Like, oh god. But no, it's just me inferring things on it. But yeah, no. And this is the scene where I kind of referenced about the magic bag, science bag, and, you know, they are going to head off to this mission. And I was kind of surprised. I was kind of like, Carter, you bastard. So they go through this, and they go through this, not hero's journey, but they go through, you know, programming, and they go through the whole last bit of, let us tell you our full story, and all this and all that. And the final panel is an image of Artie with looking at, we see through Artie's eyes, Hernia Man, Liberty, Quinn, and Science Boy. You know, certainly a phenomenon that's released from the portal is made possible by a certain country's leader tampering with it. A leader I think you've all had experience with, Julian Durand. His unregulated curiosity leads to the end of the human race. You're all aware of Julian's political power and of his loyal minions. This mission won't be easy. Julian Durand and his forces must be stopped, no matter the cost. Sorry, Carter, I kind of rewrote that a little bit. And the Porta Loomis must be destroyed. You all have this one unlikely chance to prevent global annihilation, so what say you? And I'm like, next page. I'm like scrolling. I'm scrolling right now. I'm like, next page. As soon as I finished reading the comic, I was like, I messaged Carter and I'm like, what did I say to him? I said, wait, you cliffhanged us. You bastard. Like,
you cliffhanged us.
Yeah. Well, it couldn't be a cliffhanger to us because, cliffhanged. Yeah, that's the right.
Hung?
Yeah. Something.
You cliffed us. We're on a cliff.
Yeah. And that's a bad note to be on for the cliff. And so I had mentioned to him that this was going to be episode 502 and it was going to be coming out soon as I can get it edited. And he's like, awesome, this will give me some motivation for number 6. So hopefully we will get number 6 in the new year, maybe. Who knows? But overall, this whole story, this whole adventure that he has created, not just this issue, but the whole issues 1 through 5, probably one of the most unique comics I've read.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's very different. Like, it's a hard one to really categorize. because it's straddling so many different genres. Sometimes it's trying to be very tongue-in-cheek, and sometimes it's not. Its approach to, like, Artie is, very much was introduced as the classic shackled AI type, and as the story goes on, it's like, nah, he's a bit more complicated than that. And the stuff with the timelines and the approach to the really, Duran's really ridiculous, over-the-top family type, designs, but also they're not played as jokes as much. And in fact, as the book's gone on, it's become less and less about them being like parodies and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting one to look at, because it feels like Carter is just like, it's really taking like full advantage of the fact he has a toy box. He has a toy box. He can play with it however he wants. In a way, not having a company behind him is probably giving him a lot more freedom than he might otherwise have. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going well so far.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and I know he's going to be putting into, I think he said something about putting it into a volume 1, these 5 issues and other stuff. I don't know if that's happening anytime soon. I don't remember what he said off the top of my head. But yeah, no, and this issue was like, every issue has basically had everything. Like, it's kind of like, and I need to see that movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, or whatever it's called. But it's like, we've had so much story, we've had so many awesome things, and the art style, like his art style, there ain't nobody that has the Carter Mann art style. Like, I have never seen an art style like this. And that's why I love it so much. It isn't just because he's a friend of mine and he used to be on the radio that I used to listen to him every minute. It isn't just because I have the connection with him. Just looking at it objectively, no other artist has this type of art style. I've never seen this.
No, I honestly can't think of anyone else who's taken this approach. So it's a hard, it's a hard one to pin down. It's hard to see what the influences are and everything else. Like, sometimes I read it and I get a bit of a 2000 AD vibe. But yeah, no, it's an interesting. It's like, artistically, it's different. It's just different.
Yeah. And that's good because, in amongst of all of comics, like you said, because he isn't he's not with a company. He has he basically has the freedom to do whatever he wants, however he wants. But even then, he is telling a wholly original story. I can hear his comedy in it. I can see his art style. But, he doesn't he doesn't have Easter eggs. He doesn't have, to my knowledge, you're not seeing a bat signal in the background. You're not seeing a piece of kryptonite or whatever. When I look at the energy balls for the characters in the portal on the other side of the Portal Loomis, I don't think that, I think those are more energy spheres than pieces of red, blue, green, purple kryptonite or whatever. I don't think that. Again, the most original story and art style that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's come together. It's coming together well. It's can he pull off the ending? Is kind of the biggest thing for me, because books are frequently defined by their endings. Yeah. So how it's I think a lot of things. I think the ending is one of the you can love a book or a TV show, but then it gets to that last third or last issue or last episode, and if that falls, that's what it's going to stick with you. At least in my experience. So I'm really hoping he does stick the landing with this.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're talking about how shows sometimes fail on sticking the landing, and my first thought is it's a miracle we got this junk pile in the air. What happened? The second golden age of Cybertron, Cerebros. That's all I think of. Oh, Rebirth. Oh boy. Yeah, folks, it's the Transformers geek in me. Sorry. Anything else we want to say about issue 5 of Immortal Orphans, or just the overall first arc that he's done here?
I'm pretty good, really. I think it's moving at a good pace. I think he's got a handle of things. I think it's been getting better, which is a big thing. Mm-hmm. I want to see where it goes. And I'm hoping it just keeps on going at this kind of pacing and rate and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see where it goes. I want to see what happens. I'm really digging all of the characters. And yeah, it's just super fun, folks. Carter Mann's Immortal Orphans. Check it out. It's on Amazon. I'm hoping, I think, like I said, and Carter, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sorry if I'm misspeaking. I think he said something about starting some sort of like Kickstarter or something to get a physical Volume 1 book done or something. But it's available digitally on Amazon, so I will have the link to his Amazon page in the show notes on geekcastradio.com, because that's the only kind of way you're going to be able to get it is through there. You used to be able to get it through Comixology, but Amazon bought them and destroyed the Comixology website, and I don't want to go on that tirade again. I really don't, because it's so stupid. Fucking Amazon. Mikey, tell us about your lovely little podcast that you have before we go to break.
Yeah, if you want to check us out, Moonbase 2. We're on a Christmas break at the moment. But yeah, we do Transformers and we do Transformer comics, and then we have our Patreon show, which basically does anything. We also spend about half of every show talking about stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with Transformers. So, spoilers for that one. I'm just after getting a Monster Arcs figure for a Godzilla anime. That I didn't really like the anime, but I like the designs. So, and it's blowing my mind because it's the best version of this kind of dinosaur figure I've seen when people trying to do figures of the real dinosaur are just like, nah, son. Nah, we're going to fuck it up. We're going to fuck it up bad. And I'm just like, this is based off something the size of a skyscraper and it looks more realistic. What the fuck? How is this better than the things from like Jurassic World where you're literally supposed to be making the animal? But yeah, so check us out, moonbase2.libsyn.com, and we're also on Twitter as Moonbase2, and we got an email, moonbase2@gmail.com, so if you ever want to chat to us or send us a message, I usually check them. We're a little behind on questions at the moment just because I was away for a while, but we should be catching up soon. Yeah, that's me, really.
I thought they replaced you.
No,
you can't replace Mikey. You can't replace the king.
You could probably literally replace me. I'm probably not like...
No. Whole point of tuning into Moonbase 2 is to hear me, Mikey, Well,
like me having a breakdown about like bloody Wheeljack this week, but...
Oh, really? I will have to listen then. I don't know what's going on with bloody Wheeljack, but...
It's not the toy. It's everyone around the toy. I'm just like, nope, I'm done. I'm done with every Wheeljack now is the worst character ever. You all fucked it up. You ruined it for me. Yes. Indeed.
All right, folks, we're going to go to a quick break. You're going to hear some ads and some other stuff, and we will come back to close the show and give our ratings after this.
Kid? Yes. Shut up.
Beyond the Night is the GCRN's latest review podcast. We are covering everything in the Knight Rider television universe, from the classic 80s TV series to the 1991 reunion film, Team Knight Rider, and the 2008 relaunch series as well. So join TFG1Mike and Dion the Music Man as they go in-depth and Beyond the Night only on Geekcast Radio Network. You can find Beyond the Night in iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com.
Kid?
Yes, Michael.
Just keep driving.
Because the world needs another movie podcast.
The Geekcast Radio Network presents for your listening pleasure the Cinema Geek.
Hosted by Amanda, Kevin, Matt, and Dan.
Each week we dive headfirst in the landscape of movies as we discuss movie news, play movie games,
go in-depth on reviews,
and even have a top 10 countdown or two.
Also, don't miss our Director Retrospective series, where we review noted directors' movies film by film. Bottom line is, if you love movies and love podcasts, you need to experience the Cinema Geeks.
You can find us on iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, or geekcastradio.com.
Like science fiction? Of course you do, or you wouldn't be listening to the Geekcast Radio Network. Well, the Marku 42's Universe podcast is an award-winning sci-fi radio show that's been around for over 10 years. We cover everything from Doctor Who to the MCU to pop culture and everything in between. A new show drops on Tuesday mornings on the GCRN website and all of the major podcast platforms. So listen to the Marku 42's Universe podcast from the universe and beyond.
All right, folks, this is episode 502, the Louisville area code, and I always wanted to do this with Carter Mann's comics and Immortal Orphans, and Mikey is still here with me and all that good stuff. And this is the end of 2022, folks. So I was debating, and I've said this in episode 500, 501. I say it here now in the present as I'm recording this, and I also say it in future recordings that I've already recorded in the past in 503 and 504. I was not sure if I was going to release episodes 501 to 504 for the end of the year, but I am going to. I am going to edit this, and get it online so we can start with episode 505, which I've already recorded for the first of the year. So the Pull Bag will still have plenty of content. We are now over 500 episodes long, leading up to our 10-year anniversary in March of next year. Mikey, what would you rate issue 5 of Immortal Orphans, a 0 to 5?
I would say, I'd say a 4. Comfortable 4. It might lose a mark just because, like, it's very rapidly paced, so it is very clearly moving towards something. And from my personal things, like issues of books that are like in the middle of a story and then very clearly heading somewhere, are never like the 5 marks for me. It's just my perspective on things. So I'd say a very comfortable 4.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you, but I'm there with you for 2 different reasons. And number one, how dare you, Carter Mann, make me do eye tricks? Like, how dare you?
How dare you, sir?
Write a comic and draw a comic and color and create a comic that basically makes me, want to go to sleep, kind of thing. And the other reason why I'm only giving it a 4 is because it's a damn cliffhanger. Like, you better get to work on issue 6, Carter. Seriously, let's go. But no, I mean, a 4 out of 5 is not. It's not a bad. It's an excellent grade. And like I said, I hope everyone will read this. Seriously, folks, if you're listening on your iDevice or your Android device or wherever you listen to podcasts, I prefer the Spotify user interface, but that's just me. Go to our website and click on the link to check out Carter Mann's Immortal Orphans, because you're going to want to read this. You really, really are. And yeah, so Mikey is on Twitter. I believe you were on Twitter.
Yep, that's our main social media. So, assuming Twitter's still here by the time anyone hears this, but still.
Everyone says that, and so far, like I said,
I think they came very close there about 4 weeks ago, because all the advertisers and everything started trying to leave. Then they did it. They reversed some stuff, and then they all came back because they don't want to leave, because Twitter is just the biggest. Twitter, in terms of social media earnings, I'd say Twitter beats out most other ones. And going to something like whatever, the other ones there, Mastodon or whatever, that's just so high risk. No one wants to do it.
I can't. So I forget. We're roughly the same age, I think, or you? I think you're younger than I am. I don't remember. We are 2 mics, folks, and I believe I'm the older one of the 2 of us. But it's one of those things where, yes, I am old and set in my ways, but I can also do I can learn to like new music. I can learn to like a new cartoon, Earthspark and all that, and whatever else, and whatever else. But social media, I'm fine with Facebook, Twitter. It took me probably, I don't know, a year before everyone was like, oh, Instagram this, Instagram that. I can look at my Instagram right now and tell you that, let's see here. On Instagram, TFG1Mike Presents, I have 392 posts. I have 238 followers, and I'm following 923 things. So 392 posts. I've only been on Instagram for, I don't know, a couple years now or whatever it was. I've been on Twitter and Facebook since 2007, 2008, whenever that was. Like, I have way more content on Twitter and Facebook than I do Instagram. But, like, people are like, oh, I'm going to abandon Twitter because, you know, some guy that makes cologne, you know, bought it or whatever. And I'm like, I've been on this ship since the beginning. I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm not learning new. So, like, you have to build an audience. You have to make sure you know how to use the thing. You have to do this. You have to, like, Mastodon. Like, oh, I don't want no damn Mastodon. I want, like, you know, Tiger Zord or a Falcon Zord or hell, yeah, I'd even take, you know, I'd even take the Dragon Zord or, you know, I don't want no damn, as much as I love Zach and he is cool, like, no. Like, hell, I'd even become a frog, you know. Poor Adam. I'm a frog. Just, you know. Exactly. Thank you, Megatron. All right. We're going to get the heck out of here. Thank you for joining us here inside the Pull Bag. If you'd like to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show, visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our content. Send us email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. I've already mentioned all the ways you can listen to us nowadays with the podcast catchers and other things. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio for the network, at the Pullbag for the show. I am at TFG1Mike. Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. You can also check out the Pullbag and Moonbase 2 over there as well. Join us next time when Jesse Raz and I will be discussing something with Power Rangers. I forget what we did. Was it which one's first? Is it Psychopath or the Time Force? I forget. The next two episodes are Power Rangers comics from Boom Studios, folks. I don't remember which is which. Yay!
They'll be good. They're good comics.
Yes, they are. Very good, very good. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Mikey from Moonbase.
Just Moonbase?
Oh, Moonbase 2, the best 2.
Yeah. I'm waiting for somebody to come up with a Moonbase 1 podcast, so that way you.
There was one.
Was there really?
They did not last.
Well, much like Moonbase 1, I mean, wow, damn, I did not know that.
Oh, many years ago.
Wow. As always, make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
What the hell? Hey everybody, it's Carter Mann, and you have jumped inside the pull bag. You're inside it. You can't get out.
Damn. And now we're all in trouble.
It's Mike.
Mike, what do you say?
Ernest, I'm pretty sure there's a no return policy once that is used.
Well, hell, that ain't too fair. Didn't even do what it was promised to do.
Well, you didn't do it right, apparently.
Ernest, you can't be sneaking things on people. That's why it didn't work. It's deceptive.
I didn't read the directions. I think I faced it the wrong way.
Can you even read, Ernest?
I can read. I read every day out of the gospel. Thank you very much.
He reads the Bible, but he only reads the same page, so we're not quite sure.
Hey, that's my favorite passage.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pull Bag, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter @thepullbag and @geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.
Don't worry, kids. It's almost over.